And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Here's Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. Pete Gray here along with Rock Cod Rick Mexa next to a very busy San Diego Landings in Point Loma with Mark and Paul from the Independence, 22nd Street Landing, San Pedro Bait Company. A lot going on with these two gentlemen here in the studio, and a fun show on our 32nd anniversary on the air.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah, we're having a great time. And, man, we haven't even talked about how great that fishing was. I mean, there's been some very good fishing that's been happening, these last several weeks. But, as always, there's some ebb and flow. But, boy, this weekend provided some really, really good fishing for the guys in the local bluefin grounds of all grade. And seeing those big Dorado kelps, like, there was some spectacular fishing that happened over this weekend.
Because I was gone, right?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, you were on big ones too, though, so you can't say that. That's just different big ones.
It's different big ones.
Yeah, as you can hear, we got a great show going on. So much fun, always having Captain Mark and Paul in here and talking Independence, 22nd Street, San Pedro Bait Company, and just talking a lot of fun and a lot of good times. And if you want to join us this morning, we want to hear from you. Phones have been packed since the beginning of the show. This is the first time we've had an open phone line for an hour here. That's 213-432-1090. There's just one of those available, 213-432-1090. Or you can send us a text. Again, lots of great text questions coming your way also. This texting only available through the Let's Talk Hookup app, which is a free download. Just text or fire off the Let's Talk Hookup app. You'll immediately see the tab that says text the show, and you can text in your questions to Mark and Paul. And, hey, somebody's going to win a great prize, an AFTCO reel bag at the end of the show. We're going to be giving that away. Going to be a lot of fun.
Brand new. They just came out with those 2 different sizes and available now.
Yeah,
right?
We got them in the shop. We love them. They're great.
They're really cool.
A really, really nice
job.
The
answer finally from somebody that's making a great a great reel bag.
It needed to be done. Like, reel bags were super common. You wouldn't think twice about it. If you didn't need one, you hadn't given it any thought. But in the last couple of years, if you blew yours out or you're in the market for a reel bag, there just became nothing available. Yeah. And boy, AFTCO fixed that for us. They did a really good job.
For sure. All right. Hey, I have a great text here from Ron in North County. And he writes, he says, "Good morning, guys. Great show. Very interesting. I'm wondering whatever happened to the first string, and do either Mark or Paul ever run the Independence on fishing trips?"
Well, I ran an 8-day trip 2 trips ago, I think, or 3 trips. It is not that we don't want to, but we don't always have to right now.
Well,
we have other
Brian
stuff going on, Brian and Matt.
Yeah, and you have a lot of irons in the fire.
As the first string, it was owned. The last previous owner wasn't paying close attention to electrolysis, and the whole bottom got eaten out. It was really sad. And the boat now is in Mexico. I believe the Mexican, whoever bought the boat, might have put a new bottom on it. But as far as that, I don't know anything more about the boat.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, good call. I got another quick question here that came to us via text. It says, "Hey, guys, thanks for sharing all your knowledge. I always stoked to hear about long-range fishing world because it's a little bit foreign to me. I've done trips up to 2 days in length, but I'm wondering how the pace of fishing works on those longer trips, like the 5 to 16 days. I'm really looking forward to the next fishing adventure." That's all from Mike in San Juan Capistrano.
It's definitely a slower pace because guys will come and go at the rail. Like, even if you have 28 or 30 passengers, guys will go in and have lunch and relax, or a guy will catch his limit and go in there and just, relax the rest of the day. And you don't have that, like on a day trip where, you're limited on time, you got to get your fishing time in. It's I would say a much more relaxed pace of fishing.
Yeah. Kinder, gentler.
Yeah.
And sure. it's like luxury fishing. You can eat well, you can rest, you pace yourself.
And a 5 and a 16 are 2 different trips.
Yeah.
A 16-day is a longer trip. You have guys they know about travel days, they know how to pace themselves out. Where a 5-day, you're still a little itchy for to be at the rail. But those are two different animals.
But there's definitely a feeling in the back of your mind where, when the first day is slow, like, man, I got multiple days in front of me. And then also, like you said, on a 16-day, the pace can be a lot different too. If you don't get a fish for a couple of days, that's not uncommon. Some of those trips, it's trophy hunting. You don't often have 100 fish days when you're on those big fish trips. You're down there fishing for a couple of big bites, and it's not uncommon for a guy to go a couple days, and it's no big deal because he's got several days behind it.
Yeah. You know what I tell guys when we're out fishing and we have a great day, and then we have a slow day? I said, hey, guys, should have been here yesterday. You were.
Yeah.
You were here yesterday.
Yeah, totally.
That's the cool thing about it.
It happens a lot.
And every day can't be wide open.
Oh, no.
Sometimes the contrast is like night and day, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll go out.
Totally.
I could tell you, like, Matt had a trip a couple years ago where they had limits of wahoo. They had like 150 whatever limits of wahoo for the day. Next day they stuck around. They caught like 4.
Crazy.
I mean, in the same place.
Same place.
Yeah.
Wahoo's kind of known to do that, but not that drastic.
Yeah.
But
or you get the angler that comes on the boat and goes, well, we did really well in this spot last year over here, right? Have you heard that one before?
Well, yeah, but you don't get that on our boat most of the time. That happens on the half day and 3/4.
Yeah.
Heard that on the Monte Carlo once or twice.
Yeah.
The other skipper likes fishing the kelp.
I was the other skipper.
Well, the phones are packed. Everybody's excited to talk to you boys. Let's jump right back in and talk to Dave. He's got us from Redondo Beach this morning. What's up, Dave? Good morning.
Alrighty, guys. Just wondering, how they accepted you when you went down to San Diego from San Pedro. Were you accepted in the group real quick?
Well, when we first brought the Islander down, it was, I don't know if it was frowned upon, but it sure opened some guys' eyes. Oh, what's this guy doing here? But I think what made that all better, it was 1997. We had bought the Islander in 91, and it needed a lot of work, and we had gotten the boat, and then that 5 years, we really got the boat looking nice. I remember Frank Lepresti coming down and goes, man, you got this boat look, because he hadn't seen the boat in 5 years. It used to be at Point Loma.
Frank's not missing any words either, so if he said it was looking
Frank
so,
and Bill
we had
really
brand new rails, new deck.
That's
cool. Even Bill would come down.
Yeah.
That's the fun thing about Bill Poole. He'd come down and he'd always throw his 2 cents into everything. He always was right on too. Bill was, he wouldn't like you say mince his words. He was always, he'd tell you what he thought, and he took it as good advice.
That was the deal.
But we brought it down, and in '97 it was the first year the albacore showed up.
Oh, good timing.
So we went out the first trip I'll never forget. And the Holiday was running. Rick was running it, Podolac, and we went out that day, and me and him got on some fish. We had a great day. We highline that day. I had like 65 albacore. He had like 100, and it was just the start of that '97 albacore. And once those albacore showed up, every boat was running full speed. It was good timing.
Bringing the independents down here, though, it was very, very mixed. We weren't really supposed to be in the code group, and a lot of things were like that. We had Jeff working on the boat. Jeff knew everybody, and we got by. If you're a fisherman, you'll get by. Just a little tougher.
Yeah.
We named.
You had to kind of get into the group.
Yeah, we named the boat Independence for a reason.
Well, it was, this is a very competitive industry.
Oh, yeah.
Very competitive. And all these guys running these boats, San Diego guys are some of these guys are the best in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been around, I fished all over the world. These guys that run these boats, all of them, they're some of the best in the world.
So sharp.
I mean, and the equipment's top notch. Right. You're not going to go to Florida. I was in Florida, and you should see what their top notch boats are. There is one pretty nice long range boat in Marco Island. But it's not like our boats.
No.
They're set up differently. They're fishing really hot weather. There's a lot more house on the boat. They got open berthing. It's different. But it was a nice boat.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing comparable, really, and that's what he advertised. The only boat outside of San Diego that's long range style. But you won't find these boats, especially in the long range fleet. But even the day boats and the caliber of captains running these boats, it just isn't matched anywhere. And super competitive. So when we brought the boat down, it was like, okay, here's another competitor.
Yeah.
I knew Brian Kiyahara when he was a deckhand for George Mio on the New Hustler too.
Whoa.
I mean, me and Brian go back to those days, at 22nd Street.
Yeah.
And, Brian is from the LA area.
Yeah.
Randy Toussaint is from the LA area.
Sure.
He grew up working on Long Beach boats.
Yeah.
I fished with Randy when Don Sampson had the 105, and Iser I think Carl Newell used to charter the boat. I went on, and I think Paul did too, the Carl Newell charters. Yeah. And Randy was a deckhand there for Don, and he was from up in that area. And I think even Frank LaPresti's from Newport Beach. So a lot of guys, Bill Poole.
Yeah.
I think he lived in Lomita for a while.
Yeah, he ran Narbonne for a year or two.
He ran boats up there, back in the day.
Yeah,
so,
and all transferred down here. Yeah. Now, one thing I must mention at 22nd Street Landing is you guys have created like this gem in a different sea up there. I mean, it's like a San Diego landing in the middle of L.A. And it's just a cut above everybody else there at 22nd Street Landing.
We don't have the boats, but we try to keep it.
We got some good operators there. Yeah. All the operators up there are top notch.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
The guy that's really stood out, newer guy, is that Sean on the Pride. He's got that. He got the Pride from Seaforth. That guy is fishy. He catches them. He's good.
Gets them.
He's just starting out as a boat owner. So he's gone through all those growing pains where boats breaking down and this is leaking and that. And I go, hey, Sean, it's just being part of a boat owner. It'll drive a guy crazy.
No sleep and no money for a long time.
Yeah, but he's a hell of a fisherman. John Woodrome, Gus, both those guys are great fishermen. You got. Trevor kind of took over for Tino on the Freedom. Trevor's doing a great job. He's younger, he's in his mid-20s, but he's worked a long time under Tino. Tino was a great guy to run the boat, but Tino's in his 60s now, so he's like, hey, I'm going to just slow it down a bit.
Retired. Is he retired or still running a little bit?
Some guys retire and they just go run a yacht,
because
that's kind of retirement anyway. You get a yacht job and, you run the boat, 30 days a year, 40 days a year, whatever. Some guys, I know guys that have yacht jobs that run literally like 30 days a year on the ocean.
If
the rest of the time they're polishing stainless and vacuuming the carpets.
Different deal. Yeah. Hey, Kalani or Kalani says, good morning, Rick and Pete. Happy 32nd anniversary. I'm going around the Santa Monica, California area and wanted to know a recommendation for a good full day charter boat. Now, she doesn't necessarily have to go up into the Santa Monica Bay area at 22nd Street. Do you guys do some charters out of 22nd Street?
Oh, yeah. We do. And there's it depends what type of charter boat she's looking for.
Yeah.
If she's looking for a small group or a large group, like there's certain landings will have, we offer just about everything you could, the True Line's like a 20 passenger boat that's at our landing. The Pride's and the Migo are like 15 to 18 passenger boats. There's a couple of smaller, 6-pack type boats up there at our landing. And then it just varies. Redondo, they're real limited in what they have. There's Rick at Marina Del Rey is more of an open party landing. He has like the open party half and 3/4 boats.
But you're actually closer. You have better bait access. You're closer to better fishing grounds. Where
I think so.
So it'd be worth the half-hour drive to get down to.
Here's the thing about 22nd Street. Being on basically the Palos Verdes Peninsula, you're 22 miles to the west end of Catalina. You're 23 miles to the east end. You're literally, so you go east end, and then from the east end, you're 20 miles to the west end of Clemente.
Wow.
And you're 30 miles to the east end of Clemente. So,
and then you close Santa Barbara Island too.
And then you got Santa Barbara Island at 40 miles and Nick at 60 miles.
Yeah.
But then you have Tanner Bank. You can do my kid right now on Amigo. Mark is running to Tanner, and he has been. It's been on and off there, but Tanner's about 70 miles. So you could do
it's only 70 miles?
Yeah, so you can do it from Pedro on a one day. You can't do it on a one day from San Diego. And then of course you got Cortez. Yeah, it's a little further. It's almost impossible. I have fished 90 miles on a one day. Albacore, when you knew it was really, really good, you were going 90 miles. stopping and catching your albacore like in 2 hours and then driving straight home.
Wow.
I've done it. No, I've done it.
But that works, right?
Yeah, I've done it quite a few times. But I mean, you got to know that you're
biting.
talking to a guy that's there and he's going, "It's biting.
It's
you
biting.
got to get down.
Get down here."
We got a text that's kind of on theme with what we're talking about there. It's from our good buddy Gary in Lawndale. First wants to say, Pete, congratulations on 32 years. Let's Talk Hookup has made my life better. My questions for Captains Mark and Paul was the pursuit out of Redondo back in the 60s, and then also can you tell us a little bit more about the landing and the newly revamped tackle store?
Well, the Pursuit was built in the mid-'60s. It was called the Pursuit. Gary Emplum was involved in building the boat, and it ran out of Redondo sport fishing for many years before it went down to San Diego. Yes.
Huh. And now you have it up there in 22nd?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it came down here was the Morning Star when Ben had it. As far as our landing revamped, we've just kind of cleaned things up around there. We got our lease coming up in a few years. We're going to deal with that in the next couple of years. I'm not sure. I don't think we'll ever add any more docks, but Paul built those docks a few years back. Well, now it's been 15 years.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
So when your lease comes up, you have to do some improvements.
Well, you have to do improvements.
Yeah.
And the tackle store is Mike Morrison really put a lot into that tackle store when it comes to apparel and fishing tackle and rods. I mean, really, it's loaded with stuff now.
Yeah, Mike does quite a job up there.
Yeah.
I'll say, LA's getting, kind of the reputation. I mean, a lot of the big cities getting, crime and homelessness, but they've cleaned that port up quite a bit. I think the Harbor Department, they've put a couple of homeless shelters down there, so they've taken a lot of that off the streets. Where I don't know if you ever remember driving in, there was a couple of homeless encampments. There was some, there's a couple shootings and things like that. They've kind of cleaned a lot of that up now.
Yeah.
So
it's a different world up there.
It's heading in a better direction, but the influx of people into the area is just it's a challenge for the politicians to get it right. And I feel for them. I'm not going to point my fingers and say this or that, but that's a hell of a job. You have to put together a group of people, thinking people, to really come up with a solution. But that area, I would say the Harbor Department has done a good job. I think the local police have done a good job with it.
It's a busy port.
It's a busy port.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts. When you think about the shipping that goes in there, we got our bait company over in Terminal Island. And you watch, that place works 24/7.
There's approximately 9,000 to 10,000 containers going in and out of that port a day.
A day?
A day.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah, Paul worked on he used to have his longshoring card, so he actually worked on the docks.
Just to see what it was like.
He had the card, so you have to work once every 6 months. Okay. But, and that's a dangerous job.
What's it like having a bait receiver in a busy port like that? Sure. Do you have to watch the water conditions?
It's not busy in that respect. You just got to keep the barge in an area that it's safe.
The biggest problem, guys going 25 knots, by the 100. Guys that are not paying attention, they'll throw a wake 3 feet, 4 feet over the barge and wipe us out. Yeah. So, to anybody that's going in and out of there, just keep your eyes open because you are responsible for your wake.
Yeah. You are.
Oh, yeah.
So if you do damage, somebody does damage, you can chase them down and say, okay, you owe me $1,000.
Well, yeah.
Probably,
well, worse if somebody gets hurt.
Yeah. Sure.
Now you're into legal stuff.
Yeah,
but you are responsible for your wake. So that's something you have to always keep tabs on.
Yeah.
Even when I'm going in and out, even though the speed limit's 5 knots, when I'm going in and out of there, I'm always back looking at my wake to make sure it's not. Because sometimes at 5 knots, if the boat's full of water, it may not throw as much wake as it does when it's light.
I never realized that. So if you're going through the bay and you see somebody standing on their bow casting a lure, and you throw a big wake and that guy falls in the water and gets hurt, you could be liable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's even, I don't know, is it outside the harbor too? I'm not sure about outside the harbor, but I've known of a few lawsuits inside the harbor.
Wow.
Better slow down, Pete. You better slow it down.
Yeah, better slow her down. Yeah, for sure. Hey, time to find out what's biting.
Yeah, it is, man. It's time for our FishDope.com report today. That's sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego. Get the best processing for your fish when your trip returns. Plus, with Fish Pros The Market, you can now purchase their famous spices, their rubs, their poke kit, and more. Stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street or order online at fishermansprocessing.com. Be sure you make those reservations by texting them at 619-255-3128. We got the man, your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen's on the line. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Mark, Paul, Rick, Pete.
Morning, Dave.
Great
Morning,
show. Love listening to Mark and Paul. It's so good because it's all history. It's all the stuff we grew up doing. And my dad loved you guys. He absolutely loved you too.
Oh, God.
So, hey, let's talk about this fishing. It's like Brian Woolley was saying. There's zero consistency for us in the upper sector, but there's still really fun fishing, and it's fishing, so you don't know what's going to happen. You can leave Dana Point Harbor tomorrow morning and drive a mile out and find 200-pound bluefin in the canyon. That's what's been going on, and then the next day you don't find any bluefin till you get to the Tanner Bank. It's just really strange. Big, giant streaks of red tide, but in between the streaks of red tide, you can find some pretty fun bass fishing. I sent Rick a picture of a gentleman and his son yesterday that went out fishing down in La Jolla, or Point Loma, and they fished in between the red tide, and that's a big, nice sea bass his son caught. Nice sea bass in the middle of a calico bass bite. Nice big sea bass.
Sweet.
There is
very cool father and son day. You know, they were just out there catching small bass, and next thing you know, they had a 30-pound sea bass on the deck.
That's a nice
yeah,
thing.
really cool.
Yeah, that's a nice whoopsie. But Mark and Paul will tell you that's kind of how that sea bass fishing is. And I always tell people, don't move before the miracle happens. So many people call me and go, Dave, every time we threw our bait in the water, we caught a bass, and we left to go look for some fish. I'm like, you what? You left fish to go look for fish? Okay, cool. I did that, too, back in 1974.
It's Dave Hansen, you know.
Yeah.
But, gang, you just got to go fishing. There's so much cool stuff happening, and it's kind of historic. The Dorado fishing out there by the San Clemente Island Basin buoy is just phenomenal. There's purple-blue water out there, 72, 71-degree water. It's just, there's fish everywhere. There's no reason to not go fishing. You could be on that day where it's a little slow, and then the next day they're biting wide open. You don't really know. Like I told my members last night, I go, you guys are in for a great day today. And they're like, why? I go, because they haven't bit for 2 days. So today's going to be the day.
It's the day. And, of course, fishdope.com. Danny and the boys always have the hot information for you. $20 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code HookupNow, lowercase, no space. HookupNow is your $20 code. And, Dave, how do we find you?
Gang, it's almost impossible to not see me. I'm on every piece of social media. I put out 28 brand new videos every week, and I do my podcast Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. If you don't see me, send me a message and tell me where you're not seeing me so I can dominate that in social media also.
One of a kind, Dave.
Yeah, for
Thank
sure.
God.
All right.
That's all I got.
Dave. All right.
All I got is me.
We'll
See
talk to
ya.
you next Sunday.
See
Appreciate
you, buddy.
that very much. Hey, a great text here from Jay. He says, I fished San Pedro on the first string when Paul and Mark ran under Russ ownership. What a great platform to fish on, and we always caught fish. Spring yellowtail at Catalina Island and bird schools of barracuda on the drop-off. So, so you guys have a lot of fans. For how many years you been doing this?
I forgot.
40
41.
plus. Yeah.
We started running the first string in '84.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go in the water in like April or May, and we didn't get in the water till July. I think.
Jeez.
And that was the year we had the big albacore.
Yeah, December.
We had those. Ended December.
Yeah,
Started
November,
November. I'll never forget. I was at Cortez Bank. We were catching bluefin tuna in the end of November, and we heard one of the guys come out. He goes, "We got 4 albacore, and they were like 60 to 80 pounds." I go, "What?
What?
No way.
So
What year was that?
That was 84.
84.
So I came in and we were online, and it was crappy weather. I remember it was gnarly. I could barely get tied up to the bait receiver. We tied up. We threw on some of these nice big anchovies. And we went out and we were fishing between Catalina and the Light. And we got 6 fish that day. We hooked quite a few, but they were all like 70 to 80 pounds.
And we got
albacore.
Albacore.
We got the women's world record that day. Fran Kennedy got that 76-pounder on 20-pound
on
test.
20 pound.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
That's all they would bite.
I'm trying to.
We fished those things for a month.
I'm trying to remember exactly the story, but the fish that we have hanging on the wall in the tackle store was from that bite of fish,
84.
and I think it was caught by a gal too. So now
Fran
I'm wondering
Kennedy might be the world
I'm wondering
record.
if it's that fish, but
Probably was. I think it is.
Is it 78?
Something like that. I thought it was
Yeah.
76, 78, yeah.
Yeah, she was a hell of a fisherwoman.
Oh, my God.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was how old? She was probably not.
I have no
alive
idea.
anymore. She was old then.
Yeah. But, hey, if you want to get through in a busy line in the mornings. There's one line open right now at 213-432-1090. Let's jump in the phones, Rick.
You got it. How about this time we talk to John? John's calling us from Escondido this morning. Good morning, John. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. So, just a comment, and then I have a question. And so, I just came back from the Tomahawks. I'm out here waiting my turn because everybody caught big fish. We were out towards Clemente by the Tanner. We got into a 5-hour soak of flat falls, dropping 320 feet, hit him in the head, and wind it back up. And if you didn't hit him in the head, you just hung out there for about 30 seconds, and they swim by and they would eat it. And just 70 to 150 pounders. And then yesterday, we're out driving around, flying the kite, and all we did was put cows on the boat. And so we probably put 8 cows on the boat yesterday. But just can't say enough about Dave and the Tomahawk and the crew on that boat, how hard they worked and trying to stay up with us, you know. And that soak was just, phenomenal. There were a couple of casualties, but very, very, very minimal, and those guys worked their asses off. So you want to go fishing on the Tomahawk.
That's a good.
Hey, so my question is...
Good for you.
Wow, that's good fishing. Holy mackerel. It's that good, huh? Hey, have a great time
John.
with your fish there, and thanks a lot for the call and the report there. Yeah, so, that's kind of fishing that the Independence has been experiencing, right?
On our trips. Last night, I was looking at the reports. Last night was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Really good. Last 2 nights.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
And that's like all-nighters?
Well, the guys hadn't had a fish all night. They're getting like what they want after 3 hours.
And then they find them and it's game on.
Yeah, and it's mixed. There's some of that 30, 40 pound, but there's a lot of that 70 to, like you said, 150. And then during the day, they're kite fishing for some big ones around the area. Those big
cows
ones.
Around.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's just starting to become, complacent certainly isn't the word, but think about how many years you guys have been putting guys on big fish and the amount of effort that was always needed to catch a tuna that was, 100 pounds or better, and that now you could do it any day of the week on an overnight trip at a 22nd Street is pretty amazing.
Ricky, the biggest mystery is why these fish are doing what they're doing. Because in the years past, the bluefin would migrate in, right? You'd start seeing them in, say, June. And you'd catch them in July and August. As soon as that water got warm, they were gone. They were gone. They were usually the yellowfin took over right in the fall. Now, what's changed? Why are these fish here pretty much year round?
Right.
Yeah. Because you can catch them. We catch them on our December trips.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And there's more bluefin now than we've ever seen.
Totally.
And that's the thing I hate is when I hear somebody say, "Oh, there's only 2% of the population." You hear an environmentalist try and foo-foo the bluefin and say there's a lot of bluefin around. And there isn't a huge commercial pressure because, let's face it, I was a commercial fisherman. I could tell you firsthand. Yeah. When that bluefin used to show up around, and it did a lot around Tanner and Cortez, and there was a lot of boats. That's when Pedro had like 50 seiners. Yeah. They would go up and mop it up. Wow. There was thousands of tons caught in a day. Wow. In a day. Mm-hmm. Wow. The Lorient, I know... I remember one year that Lorient, which held 550 ton, he did like 3 trips in a month. Yeah.
And where did that whole fleet go?
Just slowly went away, because the canneries went away. That all went overseas. Yeah. So when the canneries went away, the bigger boats started either being sold or a lot of them ended up in Mexico. Yeah.
South America.
Fishing south.
Some got the old wooden boats like my dad had a 150-ton wooden boat. He sold it to some guys in Ecuador and it sank down there. A lot of those old wood boats just either sank or they took them out of service.
Yeah.
But all those big steel boats, the Mauritania, like the Donna B now is still up there. Jimmy Bunn used to have the Donna B. It's mainly a squid boat. Now, squid, mackerel, bonita. They do catch a tiny bit of tuna, but the market for our tuna is not like it is for Mexico.
Right.
Yeah, interesting.
Hey, when we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. I want to remind you, this portion of the show is sponsored by Norris Lithium Batteries. They're here in Southern California, designed specifically for marine use. Norris Lithium has prismatic cells for extreme durability, solid connections, longevity, and reliability. Norris Guardian Advantage battery management system also allows you to monitor the health and the charging status with an app on your phone. Norris also makes a complete line of kayak and electric reel batteries. batteries. Make the investment in the best for your boat with Norrisk Lithium. Check NorriskLithium.com for more information and for a dealer near you. A lot more of your phone calls, a lot more of your texts when we come back. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Many years ago, Baja pioneer Bob Van Wormer found the area he called the Great Fish Trap in the East Cape of southern Baja and built what is now regarded as the premier East Cape resorts of Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Today, following in their father's footsteps, Bob's sons, Bobby, Chucky, and Eddie, have taken Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol to new levels with the largest sport fishing fleet in Mexico, a luxurious spa, and top-of-the-line resort amenities. Van Wormer Resorts have become a destination for travelers worldwide. But for us, Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol are just a short 2-hour flight away. No other tropical fishing destination offers the experience and value that you'll find at Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Now you can plan your Baja fishing vacation quick and easy by visiting VanWormerResorts.com. And when you're ready to book, it's quick and easy. Or simply call 877-777-TUNA for more information. Van Wormer Resorts, the East Cape's finest.
When you want dependable service for your outboard or a new or used boat, your first choice should be H&H Marine at their new location, near where the 5 and 805 freeway meets. North County, Central, or South, the new H&H Marine is near you. They also have added an amazing lineup of boats for both fishing and pleasure cruising, like Barletta and Godfrey pontoon boats, and Hurricane runabouts, all on display. Defiance fishing boats and many used boats are available too, along with Yamaha and Mercury outboard sales and service. Speaking of service, Jeff and his crew have you covered. As a factory-authorized Yamaha and Mercury service center, H&H Marine will be sure the job is done right. They have Blue Water Bait Tank, both cells and expert installation, as well as Tachycat inflatables. The perfect tender for your boat. For outboard cells and service, pontoon boats, fishing boats, and bait tank systems, check out H&H Marine at their new location, 10685 Roselle Street in San Diego. Check out hhmarinesc.com. Great fishing is what Seaforth Sports Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limits, Elgato Doe, Pride, Polaris Supreme, Tribute, Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or schedule, check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay. The state-of-the-art long-range sport fishing vessel, the Independence, delivers the top quality, comfort, and fishability you look for in a long-range boat. Veteran captains Mark Pisano and Paul Strasser built this incredible 112-foot vessel with the most modern technology and luxurious comfort available. Once you go on the Independence, you'll be back. Call Independence Sports Fishing at 619-226-6006 or check IndependenceSportFishing.com.
I got a garage full of fishing tackle, and every time I get out on the water, I realize I forgot something important. But I never forget my life jacket. I make sure my buddies wear theirs, too. Save the ones you love. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. Again, if you want to join us, 213-432-1090, or shoot us a text on the Let's Talk Hookup app.
Yeah, we just heard a spot for H&H Marine. I just took my Parker in there to have my Yamaha board service. They did such a great job. They picked it up on the trailer in the water, and it lives in the water, so it had some issues with the bolts and stuff. They called me and said, hey, here, you have a couple issues. Here's the deal. But they did such a good job. We got the thing turned around in a day. I cannot recommend more a great place to take your Yamaha outboard to go service than H&H Marine. They do a fantastic job. Just give them a call. Jeff and his gang really do a fantastic job. That's where you take your boat.
Yeah, exactly. We do the same thing. Our boat's in the water. We don't own a trailer for our boat. When we were buying our Parker, we had so many buds with the same hull that we do that all have trailers that keep it in the water. Like, man, just borrow mine. Just use. So anyways, we don't have a trailer, which makes servicing with H&H, I mean, it's a breeze. You literally call Jeff. They show up with the trailer, slide the boat right on it, do the service. I mean, they're fantastic.
Bring it back to you, drop it back in. And they'll even do it without you there if you want. And then also they have mobile service too. So if you're looking for service for your outboard, H&H Marine, give them a call. You'd be very happy with that.
No doubt,
sure.
man.
And also want to mention too on our Let's Talk Hookup website, letstalkhookup.com, Chef Jeff put together a new recipe that, oh my gosh, it looks good. It's the new recipe is miso glazed cabrilla. Ooh, and I love miso glazed stuff. So check it out. It's on our website, letstalkhookup.com, on the Angler's Table section of letstalkhookup.com. Chef Jeff, thank you very much for that.
Cool one.
Yeah.
Hey, I had a fun text to read for the boys. This is a question for Mark and Paul regarding catching bait. Curious to know if you've ever had any unusual catches when you do a wrap on a school of sardines. What have been some of the more unusual catches that you've encountered over the years? That's from Norman in San Diego.
Well,
tell Norman about the one.
We were just talking literally 2 minutes ago. Pete was showing us a picture of a sturgeon, right, that you caught in BC. Well, one night we were fishing in L.A. Harbor with our old little tiny boat. This is probably 10 years ago at least.
Longer than that.
Maybe longer.
Yeah.
And we made
fishing bait
in L.A. Harbor, and we caught a gigantic sturgeon.
Wow.
And you're not talking a 20-pounder.
Yeah, it was like, you said, like a 100-pounder.
Oh, this thing was huge. We lifted it to get it out of the net and release it. We had to sling its tail. It was probably 200-300 pounds.
Oh, wow.
It was a
really good one.
It was a big one. It was huge. It was
That's
8 feet long.
In L.A. Harbor.
And I had a picture, and we pulled it out of the net, we put it in the water, we took the sling off it, and just swung them away.
They're tough, man.
We caught it at like 15 feet of water.
Yeah.
That's probably the most unusual.
They're very durable.
And we caught a great white shark.
You did?
That was live. We tail wrapped them and put them, let them go.
In
live.
L.A. Harbor?
In L.A. Harbor.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And lately we've been getting a lot of thresher sharks.
A lot of thresher.
And we release them, but they're hard. You got to be careful. The tails will.
Oh yeah, they'll come get you.
So I got a video of releasing one. We had you get the thing. You got to get the base of their tail and hold their tail, and then they're pretty. They're all under 100 pounds, so you can manhandle them. But you grab them and you got to throw them out. And let them go and there's a lot of them in the harbor.
Much game fish and that kind of stuff that you guys get in the nets ever?
You don't see much game fish there. You see the threshers get in there on the anchovies and sardines, and a lot of small, like just like you hit stuff. Brown bait, just like pompano and all this
stuff.
So this is all like back in the day. We used a lot of that for bait when we didn't have sardines. Like, because sardines, when we started fishing, weren't a thing. They weren't around. So we fished anchovies, brown bait, pompano, Spanish mackerel, green mackerel, you name it, tomcod, smelt. I mean, there's a lot of different.
I remember the brown.
I was just going to say,
tomcod,
you hear old school calico bass guys talk about how great fishing big bass with brown bait and that kind of stuff was. Is it because the bait was so good, or is it because there wasn't a sardine? You know what I mean? Like, if you were to back in there right now and you had your choice of fishing either, what would you be fishing?
Well, I would prefer to fish how we're fishing now with the sardines, because if we had sardines when we started fishing, like when we started running the first string, all we had was anchovies and stuff.
Sure,
it would be incredible. We would have had incredible fishing. Instead, we were fishing with real small
totally,
yeah. I mean, I've caught bluefin tuna on brown bait too.
Sure,
before. But we're lucky to have the sardine fishery, and it is a fishery that runs in cycles. So, like my dad was telling me when they had the giant fleets that would fish sardine. There was 400 boats in Pedro and 400 boats in Monterey that just fished sardine.
Wow.
So I'm sure there was like overfishing done on the sardine back then, but it kind of the scientists have done core samples of the bottom, and they can come up with the sardine DNA within the sediment samples and scale and stuff. So even before they were ever fished, they could see that there were periods. There was periods where the sardine just kind of goes away, and it kind of
it's a cycle.
It's almost a cycle with anchovies, but now we're seeing a lot of anchovies and a lot of sardine. I mean, there's more sardine now.
It's like, the ocean's as bad as healthy as it's ever been.
Right. We're not fishing commercially sardines now for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So even on the downstroke of the cycle, there still might be enough for us to still catch bait.
Yeah.
And thank God they're letting us catch sardine for bait, live bait, during the closure of the commercial industry.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, we would be in a big world of hurt.
Trouble. Yeah, for sure. Hey, I want to mention that our dear friend Gary the Cowboy Vanderlyks, his funeral mass is going to be Wednesday, September 27th at 4 p.m. at Trinity Episcopal Church on Chestnut Street in Escondido. There'll be a reception. Follows all his friends, all his fishing friends are invited. So his daughter wanted to be sure to let you know that that's going to happen Wednesday, September 27th at 4 p.m. in Escondido. There.
Remembering a great guy.
Yeah,
Cowboy.
for sure.
Yeah.
The Cowboy, yeah. I never forget the Cowboy, for sure.
All right. Well, the phones are absolutely packed solid. Texts are rolling in as well. Let's jump into the phones and talk to Mike. He's calling us from Rosemead this morning. Good morning, Mike. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for picking up my line. I was back in 1984 walking onto this really bitchin' long, shiny boat. And, of course, I was a goofball teenager at the time. And I was in awe and kind of perplexed seeing these two other teenagers running this boat, you know, and I go, oh my God, you know, how can they be doing this? They're my age, you know. So that's my story with you guys. But what an adventurous
That was from 22nd Street.
Life.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
great story.
What an adventurous life you guys have experienced. But can you kind of tell us a story about how you rescued this little girl out in the ocean and then reunited with her as a grown-up?
Well, I mean, obviously that whole thing is on the podcast on our website, on the Independent Sport Fishing website.
Oh, you have that podcast?
Yeah, it's right on the front
Phil,
page.
yeah.
You could actually watch it. But it was just one of those, I mean, it's a long story, but we were coming home from Catalina Island after a long day of fishing, and I was running the boat at the time. Mark was, he was downstairs, and I saw a white object out in the distance. I made a turn towards the object. It didn't, at first I thought it was a buoy. It wasn't. It was a bow of a boat. As I got closer, and Mark and myself, we approached the object, and it was a bow of a boat, and we found a dead body that was tied to a line connected to the boat, and right away we knew that this scene has not been seen all day. And I looked around real quick with the glasses. I found an orange life jacket out in the distance with a brown spot above it. I figured this one could be alive because obviously there's something else going on here. So we ran in that direction, and I got alongside of it, and it was a live girl. Mark jumped in and grabbed her, and it was Desiree. And little behold, she had her whole family passed away.
Yeah. You know. And what boat were you on?
The first string.
On the first string.
Yeah, 1986.
Wow.
And just last year, I think it was a year, or was it 2
During
years?
COVID, it was 20.
We got reunited with Desiree after 35 years.
That's a really great podcast that Phil did there.
Yeah.
It's on the Independent Sport Fishing website.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where, you know, me and Mark were always just curious, and we've done this many times on your show, asking about a crazy thing, and we talked about it, and we never really we tried to get a hold of her throughout the years, but you know, we weren't really hunting to get a hold of her, but we always wondered whatever happened.
Yeah,
and after 30 something years,
that's
cool. We
find it's a powerful podcast, for sure. Hey, I got a great text here from Bruce in Lemon Grove. Wants to know, do you offer rental tackle on the Independence, and what type of tackle would that be? And that's a good question, because a lot of guys or gals want to go on a long range trip on the Independence, but they don't have the tackle.
I missed it. How long a trip?
Just like any long range trip, like if you want to go.
It's going to veer. Well, now with these big tuna here, local, you're going to want the same gear you'd have on like a 10-day trip.
Yeah.
You know, you want a variety of gear because you could be catching 30-pound tuna on light line with small hooks, and then a few hours later, the sun goes down, and next thing you know, you guys are catching
big ones.
And we do have loaner gear, all Avett reels and heavy rods.
So you need that heavy gear. You need the heavy gear as well as your light gear on any trip nowadays.
And I was going to say, in addition to that, I know you guys made a very serious investment in the rental tackle at Point Loma Sport Fishing this last year. High-end, 2-speed reels, that kind of, I mean, that's just, like you said, it's not the same fishery that it was years ago. And now Point Loma Sport Fishing has a very impressive fleet of high-end rods, high-end reels available for rental on all the trips.
And you need it.
You're just staying up with the technology. I mean, it's gear is expensive, like everything is nowadays.
But you don't have to own a lot of gear to go on these trips. So you have loaner gear on the boat.
Yes.
You can rent the tackle at Point Loma Sport Fishing.
It's a serious investment that these guys had to make because, you're not outfitting one guy. You're outfitting a fleet of people. But it gives a guy an opportunity to not have to buy a $2,000 rod and reel to come out and enjoy the fishing.
Exactly. And we do have it, though, yes.
I had a fun text I wanted to read, and I know Pete's too humble to read this because he wants the show to be all about Mark and Paul, but I thought it was awesome. And it's congratulations, Pete, on 32 years of Let's Talk Hookup. Your show has been an incredible experience and a lifelong adventure in fishing. You promote the sport, the fishing, the family, and the friendships bonded by our adventures. Many of us have experienced fishing adventures because of your promotion and your understanding, teaching us to become better fishermen with more success and instructing us in the ways to promote and sustain the industry. A big thanks to you, your show, and for everybody involved throughout the years. A tip of my hat, and that's from Harry in Chula Vista.
Oh, very nice.
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Harry. And thanks to all the people that make a part, Mark and Paul, and, of course, Rockcod Rick, Corey, and all the people associated with Let's Talk Hookup. I couldn't do it without them, for sure.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Pete.
thanks.
You think
A
about
lot of years, man.
Yeah.
how many radio shows can say that, though?
Yeah.
I
I don't think there's any in the United States.
The fishing community is a tight-knit community. I mean, these guys are calling. They went fishing with us when we were both teenagers. Now we're all, we're 60. Me and Paul are 60 now.
Yeah.
And we've made a lot of great memories, a lot of good friends over the years. You go to the fishing show and you see people you haven't seen in 5 years, and you start talking like you saw them yesterday.
Yeah, totally.
But the fishing community is a tight-knit community, and I think we get along pretty darn well. I mean, you got private boats, party boats, but everybody, all in all, it's a tight-knit community.
Oh, and it's so great to have you guys as the cast of characters on the radio show too. I mean, you guys are the stars. I mean, all these people that are part of it. It's Rick and I are just the facilitators. You guys are the stars of the show because you're the guys out doing the work and taking the people fishing.
Well, there's a lot of characters in this.
Oh,
industry, as the propeller turns.
As the propeller turns. What's funny is speaking of characters, Russ Iser used to come up to me at the and arguably we were probably the original fishing talk show on the radio, and I credit Bill Poole for saying, "Kid, you got something here," 32 years ago, right? And that was kind of what started my my whole career into doing this. I was in the radio business anyway, but he was like, "Okay, maybe I should pursue this." But Russ Iser used to come up to me at the shows. He was like, "Well, you're not the first one to ever do a show. I used to do stuff like that." And I go, "Yeah, Russ, I know you." And he used to come and give me tidbits of advice, which were very well taken, and I'd listen. Russ, when he talked, you'd listen to Russ Iser.
You made a career out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not many guys can say that either.
No, and I've been very fortunate. Being the fact that I was a sales manager at a radio station, I knew how to do the business side of it, and that's kind of what lacks a lot of times is combining the business side to the talent side. And we're very fortunate to have the right talent with you guys and my business understanding of how the radio business works kind of combined into, and I got lucky.
It's easier
Timing
to have
is everything.
It's easier to have the passion. It's another to have the drive to see it through for 32 years.
Yeah, and I feel very blessed and very lucky to be able to do what I do, as we probably all do, doing what we do in our career here. I got to go fishing for work, right?
That's it.
Yeah, it's my job.
When you do something you like, it doesn't seem like work.
Yeah.
And it sure makes the time go by fast.
And then when people go, "When are you going to retire?" I said, "From what?"
Well, that's exactly. I'm 68 years old. People go, "When are you going to retire?" Like, well, what am I going to do when I retire?
Right? What are you going to do? Watch the grass grow?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not that you don't want to work hard all your life, but you back off the throttle a little bit, but stay in touch.
And you're able to do that, for sure. And I'm able to do that now because of Rick and Corey and Brandon and he says go and I go.
Yeah,
right.
Totally,
Yeah. Why not?
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're 68 now?
Yeah. Scary, isn't it?
You got a lot of energy, though. 68. You're in good shape.
You got to keep moving.
Yep.
Right? You got to keep moving. That's the key.
For sure.
All right. You got another good one there, Ricky?
This is good morning, guys. It's always nice to hear from Mark and Paul on the radio. Awesome show. I fished the Monte Carlo and the Islander for years. They always made everyone I took fishing feel welcomed and special. My son and daughter both did their first trips on the Monte. I just want to thank you guys for such a great operation, being such awesome guys. That's from Bob Castro in Huntington Beach.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah. Here's another another legendary guy there. Yeah, for sure. And speaking of legendaries, I when I was up in British Columbia the last few days doing that sturgeon thing, I was with another legend, 83-year-old cast man, Richard Castaneda from Cast Dudes. Wow. I got to tell you, that guy is my hero.
He's a badass.
You see that? He's a badass. At 83, the energy that guy hopping on and off the boats and pulling on those giant fish, they pull. I mean, he's a stud. I mean, we all hope that we can be that strong and that vibrant and that sharp when we're 80.
I started watching the show on Netflix about people over 100 real quick, and it's pretty interesting. Like, the number one thing they're finding out, obviously diet's important.
Right.
Not smoking.
For sure.
All the things we know, but they found that people that were staying somewhat exercise, Okinawa, like these, they don't have tables and chairs. They sit on the ground. They're constantly getting up and down.
Yeah.
In Italy, they live on these mountainsides, so they're walking up hills.
To walk up the hills.
They're walking up hills and stairs, but they're staying active, and these are the largest populations of centurions. People over 100.
You got to keep moving, right? And you guys keep moving, so
we try.
Nothing slows you down, for sure. And that's the cool thing about going fishing, taking people fishing on the boat. You got to get out in the rail. You got to keep moving.
Yep.
Yeah. Enjoy the fishing.
For sure.
All right. Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out who's got themselves that killer AFCO reel bag. More Let's Talk Hookup coming your way in the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Back in 1979, my parents started Fast Lane Sailing Center. They lived in a VW van in the parking lot and sold catamaran sailboats. And over the years, the shop has evolved. They've sold everything from windsurfers to barbecues, paddleboards, and trailers. Here's the point. For over 40 years, my parents, and eventually me, my brother Jared, and sister Ava, have been in the business of fun and making memories on the water with friends and family. If something's in the shop, it's a product we use, are passionate and knowledgeable about, and want to share with you. We encourage you to come down to our shop, Fast Lane Kayaking on Mission Bay, and check out our huge selection of Hobie Mirage kayaks, accessories, and more. And let's get you on the water, fishing with friends, enjoying the coast with your family, or exploring mountain lakes in solitude. In other words, having fun and making memories.
In San Diego, the future belongs to everyone. So Ford engineered the truck of the future for everyone, the Ford F-150, available with a Pro Power onboard generator. What a great addition for anglers. There's also a variety of cab configurations for whatever you need to haul. The truck of the future isn't created for just a few. It's created for us who love the ocean and the outdoor life. Ford F-150. Test drive one at your local San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you up.
Turner's Outdoorsman, Southern California's #1 shooting, hunting, and fishing tackle retailer since 1971, is right in your neighborhood. Now with stores throughout Southern, Central, and Northern California. No one does it better. Turner's Outdoorsman brings you the best prices and selection, plus a knowledgeable staff that will help make your day on the water or in the field more fun. Stop by your neighborhood Turner's Outdoorsman. To find a location nearest you, check the web at turners.com and sign up for special deals and more.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day trips on the Daily Double and full-day trips on the Mission Bell every day. Perfect for novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips on the American Angler, Vagabond, Intrepid, Independence, Loan, T-Bird, Game Changer, and more. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com where you can purchase tickets online. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. We're going to find out who's going to be winning that killer AFCO bag. Paul's going to do us the honors of the prize coin. We've got a texter winning today, and that is Bob in Huntington Beach. Bob, congratulations. You got yourself a killer new AFCO bag coming your way.
Yeah, that AFCO reel bag. And your daughter, so talented, has this beautiful shirt, T-shirt, hat company, this art company. It's works of art for fishermen.
Well, she's a spiritual art, and that's what she does. And I told her, get into the women's apparel, and we can put this in the tackle store. So she trademarked a name called Trippy Fish. And you'll find it. She just hit the market. It's at Point Loma Sport Fishing, Dana Landing, and 22nd Street Landing.
Okay.
Women's shirts, bucket hats, and she's coming out with these really nice straw hats where the underside is a nice decorative fish.
Those are cool.
And
is she going to move into men's apparel too?
Yeah, she eventually will. See how things roll here, because she got a lot of fires going on right now, but we just started it, and we're looking to go in other tackle stores too, maybe Fisherman's Landing. She's testing the waters and go from there.
But right now you can get it at Point Loma Sport Fishing, Dana Landing, and 22nd Street Landing.
It's called Trippy Fish.
Trippy Fish. It's really cool stuff. And does she have a website too?
She has a website. But on this website, Trippy Fish is not there yet, but it will be. But it's Alicia, which is her name.
Okay.
ALYSSIA Strasser.com.
Okay. All right, AliciaStrasser.com. Yeah. That's cool.
Anyways.
All right. Now, as far as you guys' business, Independent Sport Fishing, 22nd Street Landing, how do we get a hold of you?
Well, the Independence, man, we do have openings this fall. If anyone wants to hop on a trip,
that's unbelievable.
Go on to our website, independentsportfishing.com. Easy to
remember. Or give Michelle a call in the office.
Michelle in the office, 619-226-6006.
Yeah.
And then 22nd Street, you got the website there, and you have the office.
22nd Street, yeah.
Yeah, we have, a couple spots for next week, 7-day, a couple spots in a couple weeks, or a 10-day, and, a couple here, a couple there. But, near the end, in October, we have 5 or 6 spots on another 10 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that just hasn't existed before.
And a lot of short trips. The end of this year and 2024, a lot of 2 and 3 day trips for you guys.
Nice.
So look into come fishing with us.
Get on it. IndependentSportFishing.com.
Yes.
You can book right online. Get it done. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Thanks for coming down. Appreciate you. And thank you for listening today. Thanks for being with us for 32 years. Let's start another 33 years right now, and we'll keep it rolling here. Next Saturday, Brian Wynn, who's a speed jigging expert, is going to be here. That's going to be very interesting. That's a hot new item there. The speed jigging for big tuna. And then next Sunday, the man, Captain Frank Lopresti from the Royal Polaris will be here. Thanks for listening today. Thanks to JP for manning the phones and the board. And thanks to Adam for all he does on the Let's Talk Hookup app. And thank you all out there for being with us for so many years. And we'll talk to you next week right back here on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio and the Let's Talk Hookup app.